Ready? All right. Morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Dauphin County Board of Commissioners workshop meeting for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024 to order, starting by the pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Actually, a moment of silence followed by a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. This week is a workshop meeting for those of you attending for the first time. We have two different meetings during the course of the month. The first week workshop to discuss some of the issues that will appear next week on the legislative meeting. And then there are some issues that we actually will be taking up today at the workshop meeting. Just so you're reminded, I know it's on the front door, but we are being live streamed. So for anybody who provides comments, we certainly want to make sure that you are aware that this is a live streamed meeting. The first order of business that we will be taking up next week will be the approval of minutes, which are the August 14th, 2024 workshop meeting minutes, the August 21st, 2024 legislative meeting minutes, and the August 21st, 2024 salary board meeting minutes. Executive sessions held between meetings. Mr. Pease.
Good morning, Commissioners. On August 27th, Commissioners held an executive session to obtain the advice of legal counsel on matters related to budgetary issues and energy projects. In addition to the Chief Solicitor, Chris Davis, Director of Budget and Finance, participated in the executive session to provide input on the budget discussion.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Pease? Hearing none. First time in the meeting for audience participation on agenda items only. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to participate on listed agenda items? Seeing none. Directors and guests. Human Resources. Tanisha Whedon. Good morning, Tanisha. How are you?
There are no salary board items. The ones I'm requesting approval on for the personnel packet are items 3 through 5, 26 through 30, and 47 through 53.
Do we have any questions for Tanisha, first of all? Any questions? Hearing none, she's asking for a vote on items 3 through 5, 26 through 30, and 47 through 53. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Pease makes the motion. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Douglas. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Thank you. Director of Budget and Finance, Mr. Davis. Good morning.
Commissioners, I have no changes. Sit down. I have no changes to the purchase order packet that was sent out this morning. It'll be ready for approval next week, and we'll be back to the usual format.
Usual format as well.
Yeah, they're in fixing the change orders. There was an issue with the report, so I had to run an export versus the report you're used to. So that'll be fixed and should be corrected for next week.
Appreciate that. Any questions for Mr. Davis? Hearing none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Clerk's report, Mr. Pease.
Commissioners, I have nothing to report unless there are questions of me.
Any questions for Mr. Pease? Hearing none. Solicitor's report, Mr. Owens.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matters requiring board action numbers 1, 2, and 4 have been reviewed and approved for action by the board. I am going to recommend that the chair table item number 3. Documents are continuing to be exchanged and revised. In addition, the name of the energy company is Perpetual Energy, which will need to be changed as well.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Owens?
I'll make a motion that we approve items 1, 2, and 4 at this time.
A motion's been made that we approve items 1, 2, and 4, and I assume that's tabling also item 3.
Correct.
Is there a second to that motion?
Sure. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. The ayes have it.
Can I ask a question, just since we're still technically in the solicitor's report? When do you plan on having that prepared and ready?
The goal would be to have it ready for the legislative meeting, which I believe is September 4th.
Any additional questions? All right, commissioners, comments?
We need to back up to the training packet.
Training packet. All right, do we have I think we require a vote on item 1, which is the only item on today's training packet.
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Commissioner Prees. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. All right, commissioners' comments. Commissioner Douglas.
I have no comments.
Commissioner Prees.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to meet yesterday with some folks out at Fort Halifax, Friends of Fort Halifax, the representative from the Board of Supervisors out there, as well as our Director of Parks and Recreation, Anthea Stebbins, and Director of Economic Development, George Connor. We had an opportunity to go out there and take a tour of the facility, the area, hear about the historical makeup of the barn. It's from the 1800s or earlier, actually, and there's a historic site there, the actual Fort Halifax original site that they're starting to do some excavation on, and they have college students around the state going out there and looking at it. So it's a pretty exciting opportunity for the kids and college students, and I think for the county as a whole, that Fort Halifax is there. They have located it, and they're going to continue excavation on it moving forward.
Thank you for the update.
Certainly.
All right, any other comments? I know that now's the time for public participation, and I know Treasurer DeFrancesco had made a request and wanted to provide some public comment. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate this. My name is Nick DeFrancesco, and I'm the Dauphin County Treasurer. So good morning to you. I appreciate the opportunity. And really, this is just an opportunity to update you on a matter that was brought up before this board, oh my goodness, several months ago regarding hotel tax collections in Dauphin County. At that time, Solicitor McShane had said, basically made mention that we were going to begin going after those hotels that have not been civically minded in paying their hotel tax. This issue actually goes back to when I first took office very early on this year. I had one of the auditors from the controller's office actually reach out to me and say, reminded me that there were 6 outstanding audits on hotel tax dollars from 22 and 23. And he basically took the time to express what his job was, what he does, how he goes out and make sure that this law is being upheld. And these audits were sitting there basically, they had just not been addressed or followed up on. So that kind of brought it to my radar. And as I did a little more research of the 6 audits that were there, I think the outstanding balance on those were probably around $50,000 in hotel tax that was not collected. And looking deeper down into it, you all get the monthly report on the late payments. One of the hotels was literally had not made a remittance since 2021. And so we knew that was going to be a sizable amount of money. But because of the way the system operates, it's a self-report. So if we don't get the reports, we honestly don't know how much the outstanding balance is. So earlier this year in follow-up, I asked the controller's office, and Controller Bateman and her staff has been phenomenal through this entire process. They've been on top of this issue for, I don't know if it's 3 years now or more than that, but when it comes down to it under the law, it's the treasurer's responsibility to follow up. And if the treasurer doesn't follow up, then it's hard for the solicitor's office to follow up. So I made a decision that we were going to move forward. And the fact of the matter is the Red Line Hotel was roughly, based on the audit, $500,000 behind. So $500,000 behind in their remittance over the course of the last few years. And based on a letter that I had sent to them earlier, reflecting that we are going to take legal action to collect this money, they had already sent us in $100,000. So we have $100,000 that's already been submitted in hand from them. We have another $500,000. As you all know, that property was in the news recently about the possibility of selling and maybe being turned into a, I know that's not going to happen now, but a treatment facility or some other purpose. It was at that time that I called the solicitor's office and basically told them, we have to file a lien against the property just in case to protect the interest. My understanding is that the facility is in fact working with the council. My solicitor has been in touch with them, but that's $500,000 of, and I'll say this for the people who may be watching live stream, this is a tax assessed on a room. So when people come and stay in a room, they pay this tax. And all the hotel's responsibility is to turn around the next month and remit that tax that they collected. So it's not like they can use it for another purpose, or it's not like your property taxes when you might decide that your cash flow stream is, you want to hold off. This is money that you pick up in tax dollars and you automatically turn over the next month. So to say that they've gone 3+ years in remitting, those are tax dollars that this area was due. As you all know, those tax dollars go to support tourism in this area, and you all understand and appreciate the importance of tourism, not only to the hotels and the venues, but to the restaurants and the businesses that support those. So my report to you today is twofold. One, the good news that $500,000 more dollars will hopefully very soon be going into that tourism promotion where it should have been all along. And number two, that we're taking a hardline stand to say that this is not an acceptable practice in Dauphin County any longer. We will go after, and again, we're not going after people to take their money. They are literally agents collecting and remitting for the purpose that supports the tourism industry. So really, when they violate it, they're violating the trust of their peers and of the civic, of the citizens. So I just wanted you to be aware that's what's going on. I want to thank you. The solicitor's office has been an integral part of this. They've been great to work with, and Controller Bateman, I appreciate you and your staff and what your team does every day. And part of this is just showing them respect also, that they go out and work hard. It's important for us to follow up and take advantage of that. So any questions, or you good?
No, obviously over the course of time, I know we've had multiple conversations. I mean, this has been something that we've attempted to address. I know through solicitor action in the past and through previous treasurer Creason. I know that there was a lot of dialogue between the solicitor's office and her. I know there's also been an investment into the controller's office from an auditing perspective to assist in being able to determine that revenue. Ultimately, this revenue is not, the hotel's revenue. I mean,
Right.
It's not also a part of, if there's difficult times, you don't hang on to the money. They're collecting the money. The money then should be remitted for the appropriate legal purposes required by the law. I think some of the challenges have been that the enabling legislation has really not been as clear related to enforcement teeth, related to how we do collections. And I think from our perspective, I think your approach in this case from a liens perspective has been one that will ensure that those dollars that have been identified will be remitted for the appropriate purposes. I think based upon this, taking a look at ensuring that the legal ramifications for those who don't remit are very clear within the law. The collections of those processes should be even more clearly defined, so folks don't have any ambiguity around the timeliness of the collections and the potential consequences of not remitting those tax dollars for the appropriate purposes. As you point out, tourism is the second largest industry here in Dauphin County. I think this past year, $2.5 billion. I think it's sort of up past pre-pandemic phases. And I think the tourism parts of our economy are critically important, with Hershey, Harrisburg, and the region related to those issues. And ultimately, the more dollars we're able to bring in from the hotel tax should be going into the direct marketing of the region to try to enable more heads on beds and more individuals to be able to stimulate our local economy and grow our local economy. So all things that are critically important to us. So thank you.
I just want to add, thank you for the actions that you've taken. This is unfair to those hotels that pay on time and follow the rules. And you being aggressive here allows everybody to be on the same playing field moving forward. So thank you for taking this action, and also the controller's office and the solicitor's office for working together. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any additional public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. I would like to juxtapose a little bit on what our treasurer said. So we are owed, the county is owed $500,000 roughly in hotel tax. And we are just now figuring out how to recoup that tax. So I would like to talk a little bit about the back debt for formerly incarcerated folks at Dauphin County Prison. Clearly, a hotel, which is making money, has the ability to pay the debt. And as you pointed out, that tax is immediately collected when a person rents a room. So that money should be there. And they have the ability to repay. But we have formerly incarcerated folks who are struggling under a burden of debt for a fee that we no longer charge our folks at the prison. And if you in this room have not had the experience of struggling with huge debt, you do not understand the toll that that takes on one, which is far beyond just the financial toll. It is an emotional toll, a mental health toll. It is a stress beyond belief. And so I got the contract that we have with Penn Credit that we use to collect this debt. And what we have collected, at least through June of this year, was a little over $300. Why are we doing this? I have attended these meetings when you have, as commissioners, have upheld the folks who are doing reentry and have talked about how exemplary their work is and how you want to see more of that happen. Yet, this back debt prohibits people from being fully able to rebuild their lives. Because if you have a poor credit rating, which is what happens to these people, I do not know the number of people, I only know the amount of the debt. They can't buy a car, they can't buy a home, they have difficulty in renting an apartment, and it almost sometimes makes it impossible to find a job because employers look at credit ratings. Potential landlords look at credit ratings. And if you are able to secure housing, how are you going to get to work unless you're on a bus route? You are saddling these folks with something that is akin to more punishment. They have already paid their debt, or in some cases, they were just there because they couldn't make bail, and now they're out because, you know, they were exonerated or found not guilty, but they still had that burden of debt. And if you want what I hear that you want, which is that our county is good for everyone who lives here and that we want everyone to succeed, you need to wipe out that back debt. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. I want to say something. I've had multiple emails about this particular request. I believe, Pam, you're one of the emails, but I've had multiple other individuals as well. This goes back to a pay-to-stay fee that used to exist at Dauphin County Prison, of which I believe in some capacity by changing that to a booking fee, a one-time booking fee, we determined was probably, I would guess, a poor policy, and that is putting it lightly. I wasn't really prepared to make comments on this today, but a daily rate to stay for someone who's incarcerated, who likely doesn't have the means of which to post bail, it further entrenches someone into a system of poverty that I don't believe it is our obligation to do. We are obligated to operate a prison. I don't know that we're obligated to charge citizens for their stay at that prison, especially when we put punitive bail amounts on their ability to even see their way out. And when we think of the millions of dollars we invest in reentry, it seems odd that we would hold this debt that clearly we haven't recouped and we have no plan to recoup. And it will very unlikely be that we will ever recoup this money, when we could abolish the debt and in doing so, potentially free people to, like, Ms. Parsons said, acquire jobs, housing, transportation, who knows what else. And in doing that, we might actually make our community safer, because in that exchange, we give someone potentially financial freedom. They're less likely to go back to potentially, criminal activity. We know from statistics that when someone is financially stable, they're far less likely to commit crime. And so this is a workshop meeting. I'd like to see this on our agenda next week to abolish the debt.
Yeah, I've got a question though. Has the credit been damaged? And does abolishing the debt make that remedy based upon, a lot of the individuals that are on here, particularly have been in this position for quite some time. And that negative impact doesn't get erased when you erase the debt. I think moving forward, this is a dialogue discussion we can have, but I don't know if there's an immediate impact and ability to effectuate credit related to the history. And I'd like to get, before we do any kind of action, understand what the sort of intended and unintended consequences of such an action would be and whether or not it would be helpful. Because I
can't believe it would hurt to abolish.
I don't think it would hurt, but I also don't know to the extent we're not having folks really create a significant larger amount of debt based upon some policy changes that we tried to be more fair in relationship to not overshadow folks in the prison system. I just want to know what the impact of the abolishment of debt would have on on those individuals and what that impact would be.
Can we discuss that at our next meeting?
Sure. Okay. Any other questions? Any other public comment? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.